Hi class, welcome back. Today we're going to be going over our homework drawing, which is what I call the wavy line drawing. This is one example. I'm trying to move it around because there's a bit of a glare because I have laminated this. But we're going to be making something similar to this, but on a smaller scale. So let's go ahead and do that. First off, I want to remind you about what we practiced in class, which was different types of blending and color-to-color transitions using colored pencil. We're going to be focusing on this highlight feature because we're going to make these lines look 3D by shading dark, medium, light, medium, dark. Okay, just like we practiced in class. Okay, so let's get started. First off, you're gonna need a piece of paper from your sketchbook. So we're gonna do the 6x9 paper. So it's not gonna be super big. And you're gonna start off by drawing a dividing line, okay, across your paper. And I'm not gonna draw this insanely dark, but dark enough that you guys can see it. You can always draw yours lighter. That way, if you make a mistake, you can actually erase it. So I'm going to kind of just make a little wavy line, okay, like that across my paper. You know, that might be a little intense, so I might come back down. So I can fix it. Kind of stay in the middle area, but you can have some change, okay? All right, next up, we're gonna draw some lines that go from the top to the bottom, okay? And I'm gonna make these pretty close together. The cooler this drawing is gonna look depends on how close you put your lines together. So I'm just gonna kind of start right here and just kind of make these little wavy, bumpy lines, okay? I can have some, you know, variation, but I really wanna keep them kind of straight, but wavy. Okay, so I've got some bumps happening. Oop. Okay. I'm not getting too crazy, just a couple things here and there. Might create a new one there. So hopefully you're getting the idea here. Okay, so altogether I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines. I would say anywhere between like 9 and 13 is probably a good number. I might come back in right here and add a line because it looks kind of empty there. Okay, so I've broken my paper up like this. I have a dividing line, and then I think I've got like 11 wavy lines going down. Okay, so what we're going to do is make hills and valleys. So here's an example that's a little less complex. Anytime you're above the line, you're gonna make hills, okay? If you're below the line, you're gonna make valleys. So let me go ahead and show you that. Okay, and I'm gonna start just right here. So I'm gonna go hill. Okay, and I wanna make sure I get this whole, you do wanna kinda keep your spacing the same, okay? So I don't wanna have, you know, like a bunch of really skinny lines. Like I wouldn't wanna do it like this, okay? In places we might, but it doesn't, you don't wanna get it too crazy. So I'm just kinda spacing mine out. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this whole thing with hills and then valleys over here. And again, I'm trying to keep my spacing somewhat the same. That's why you're doing this in pencil first. It is a bit annoying to have to come back through later on and go over them, and don't draw too dark so you can erase. But this is gonna look really cool and trippy. You've probably made something similar to this when you were younger. Okay, so you should be getting the idea here. Once you are done with this, you're gonna take a permanent marker and you're gonna go through, and I like to darken up some of these lines, okay? And then I go over these lines with the Sharpie. You can wait till the end if you would like to do the Sharpie lines. That's fine as well. But I'm at least going to do this line. I'm gonna trace my dividing line because that's an important one, okay? And then when you do go through and you start sharpening, okay, on some of these like tight corners here, you can kind of go over it a couple times and make it look darker. So it looks like there's kind of like a shadow happening. And you'll see what I mean once we start shading. I'm gonna go outline that whole thing so that it looks like this. Then it's time to start coloring. You're gonna wanna pick a color scheme that suits you, okay? So, and you're gonna wanna keep this pattern the entire time. You should have a fairly good assortment of colored pencils that we supplied you. Okay, so you could choose to do something like, you could do cool colors. So you could do purple and green and blue, which are cool colors. I could do a pattern like that. I could do warm colors. So I could do colors like that. I could do a primary color scheme. Okay, I can just do simply colors that I like. Like I like green and purple and yellow. Those are my favorite colors. Maybe I just want to do those. It's really up to you, okay? I would suggest using 3 colors, okay, or more. I probably wouldn't go past like 6 or 7 because otherwise you're going to get kind of sick of doing it. But you're going to then start by shading. And I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit so you can see better. Okay, so I'm gonna start shading, and it's gonna be kind of darker on the outside here, lighter in the middle. So I always kind of just start shading like that. I can always come back in and darken this. And then I'm gonna shade with kind of the exact same type of lines that I was marking with these like hills, okay? So I'm gonna kind of have this transition. It's gonna be lighter in the middle. So purple, let's go green. So again, these spaces are pretty small, so I'm gonna not get too crazy here. All right. And you can always come back and darken up your edges there a little bit. So purple, green, yellow was my color scheme. And again, you can wait to do the Sharpies till the end, or you can do them ahead of time. But eventually, these will all be marked. Okay. Or you could use a colored Sharpie or a colored pencil if you didn't want to use the black lines. I get that. That's totally fine. It kind of makes it look Dr. Seuss-y. I feel like this whole project looks very Dr. Seuss-like and just kind of fun and crazy. But hopefully you can see how these look 3D because of the shading. It's lighter in the middle and it makes it look kind of wavy and wacky. And so I would just continue my pattern. You could count ahead if you wanted to. So green, yellow, okay, but you might make mistakes that way. So I'm just gonna kind of, I think, just go with the flow here, and you can always smudge them together a little bit. And you want to make sure that your highlight follows the curve of the project, okay? So wherever the light part is, it's always kind of in this middle, so and it kind of curves with it. Okay, so that is the wavy line project.